Hello, you're welcome to the ChannelOne TV. Here live with the ChannelOne Newsroom. We're broadcasting live from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano here in Accra. I am Charles Osukumi. Coming up. Former National Service executives face 14 charges in 600 million Ghana cedis ghost name scandal. Also coming up, government approves payments of salary arrears for thousands of unpaid health workers.
About 6,500, that will add up to the 7,000 already being paid, making 13,500. That allowance, that's over 6,000. Cabinet has approved that with immediate effect, starting from November, the Minister for Finance must.
Torrential rains submerged homes at Atonsu, Kuwait as residents blame authorities for neglecting drains.
Baby at free baby at Tiano, almost 500 meters. I had the 8 maintenance one. Distance and a what? Anything can you say? In sweating fire, so soon Dagatanum, and 18 and so need to me badia. Come.
Later in the bulletin, President John Dramani Mahama urges global action beyond rhetoric on women's empowerment at Beijing Women's Summit.
And I wish to use this platform to call on my colleague African leaders to focus on the welfare and empowerment of African women.
Coming up in ChannelOne Business. Strong revenue growth, spending decline, spending discipline mark Ghana's 2025 fiscal performance. And in ChannelOne Sports. Bafana target victory over Rwanda and hope for Benin slip to secure World Cup berth. Thank you for choosing the ChannelOne Newsroom. Let us now get into the details of the bulletin. And in a major relief for thousands of healthcare professionals, Health Minister Kwabena Minta Kando has announced that Cabinet has approved and the Finance Ministry has granted clearance for the payment of salary arrears owed to thousands of unpaid nurses, midwives and junior doctors beginning in November. The decision follows mounting pressure from weeks of demonstrations by the affected workers, some of whom have gone without pay for up to 13 months. There is more in the following report.
The announcement marks a significant turning point after weeks of growing agitation within the health sector, including a protest by the coalition of unpaid nurses and midwives and threats of strike action from junior doctors, all demanding payment of their delayed salaries. Although earlier assurances were given by Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Ampemnyako and Health Minister Kwabena Minta Kando, affected workers expressed frustration over delays, describing the situation as unbearable. Speaking to journalists in Accra, the Health Minister confirmed that government will begin disbursing all outstanding arrears in November, following formal approval from both Cabinet and the Finance Ministry.
About 6,500. That will add up to the 7,000 already being paid, making 13,500. That allowance, that's over 6,000. Cabinet has approved that with immediate effect, starting from November, the Minister for Finance must pay them. And I have in my hand the letter to that effect. And so these were the difficulties. I empathize with anybody who had to go through this painful situation. But it is important for Ghanaians to be taken along.
The convener of the Coalition of Unpaid Nurses and Midwives welcomed the announcement, but called for strict monitoring to ensure that the payments are made without further delays.
We are really happy and excited for the swift response from the ministry, and we would say we are happy with the response, and we are hoping to start receiving our salaries from November. So we thank the ministry for the response to our plea. And with regards to our arrears, the minister made it known that the plans for payment is going to be made clear to us as time progresses. That's where we are a bit skeptical, but we have confidence in the ministry that the plans they will lay for the arrears to be paid is something that will be in our favor. So in all, we would say we are happy with the response from the ministry.
In a related development, the health minister also revealed that government dialysis subsidy will be extended to private health facilities, ensuring broader access to affordable kidney nationwide.
The current arrangement for payment of dialysis is that if you go to public health facilities, we have a maximum amount of money we pay per session. That's around 499 until about 500 Ghana cedis. What we have realized is that there are people who also go to the private facilities. And so His Excellency the President has directed us to give that which is paid to the public facilities. So for example, if you go to private facility A and they are charging you 1,000 Ghana cedis, the government will pay the 500 Ghana cedis and you top up. To be fair to everybody.
Still in the health sector, the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency has closed down the Guinness Ghana Clinic at Kasi and several other health facilities in the Ashanti region for operating without the required licenses and documentation. The shutdown forms part of a major enforcement operation that began across the region on October 13, 2025, targeting unlicensed and non-compliant health facilities.
The exercise, which began today, resulted in the closure of 8 facilities on its first day, with enforcement notices pasted at their entrances. Among those affected were the Guinness Ghana Clinic, Anchor Diagnostics and Rashbill Eye Care, both situated within the Kwamfuanochi Teaching Hospital premises. Other facilities including the Allen Urological and Surgical Center at the Allen Clinic, Florence's Maternity Home, Exquisite Medical Imaging and Health Center, and Mitchmit Clinic and Maternity Home were also shut down. According to HEFRA officials, most of these institutions have not renewed their licenses since 2019, in violation of the Health Institutions and Facilities Act 2011, Act 829.
We don't take pleasure in closing down facilities. So these are facilities that we have actually engaged. For all these years, we've been engaging them. Our inspectors have come around, monitoring team has come around, they have told them what to do. So we've given them a very long rope. So we don't just get up to lock facilities or close down facilities, no. We actually engage you, we tell you what to do, what you have to do, put in place this recommendation. And if you still choose not to do that for 6 years, and you decide to play, is this just for profit? I mean, we have just one life to live. So we are saying that if you want to run a health facility, nobody is stopping you, but then operate within standards.
HEFRA maintains that it remains committed to its enforcement mandates and will continue to close down all health facilities operating without valid licenses and proper documentation across the Ashanti region.
As many facilities that are not licensed in the Ashanti region, we will close them down. Per our data, we have almost 200 facilities. But like I said earlier, because some people have had this exercise going on, they will start coming to the office. Some will start implementing the recommendations that we have given them earlier. When that happens, the registrar has actually put in place an inspection team that is actually on standby. So once you come and you tell us that you have put in those recommendations in place, we send the inspection team. If they come and they actually validate that yes, you have put in those recommendations in place, why not? We'll open the facility to the public. But until then, we'll close it down.
For ChannelOne News, I am Bright Yeboah.
Now, a new report by the National Development Planning Commission, NDPC, has revealed that many government projects continue to be hampered by prolonged delays, massive cost overruns, and poor quality execution. These issues, the Commission warns, are eroding value for money. The 2024 Annual Progress Report indicates that several capital projects implemented by ministries, departments, and agencies have missed their scheduled completion deadlines. According to the NDPC, weak GDP growth, high inflation, and exchange rate instability have been major drivers of these project setbacks and escalating costs. Data from the report show that the total contract value of 17,993 capital projects ballooned from an initial 434.8 billion Ghana cedis to 505.1 billion Ghana cedis, a cost overrun of 70.3 billion cedis. Chairman of the NDPC, Dr. Nimoy Thompson, expressed deep concern over the recurring challenges of delays, cost escalations, and substandard delivery that continue to undermine the effectiveness of Ghana's public investment projects.
During the public consultations, as some DCs, for instance, started projects, ignored existing projects and started new ones to use as campaign for Parliament. They may win, they may not win, and then the project is abandoned. So we had two pretty much the same projects, and then another DCE comes in and they also want to start a third one. But they thought that anyone who resigned as DC to run for Parliament should wait at least 2 years, and that will discourage them from using development projects as stepping stones to Parliament.
Well, let's stay with this NDPC report. We're joined in studio by the Director of Research for the National Development Planning Commission, Richard Kodua, to help us unpack the key findings of this report. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us here on the ChannelOne Newsroom. So, I mean, the report is indicating budget overruns, and some of the key ministries, the Defense Ministry, Education Ministries, are culprits in this. What were the major drivers of these budget overruns, according to the research that you've conducted?
Okay. So first of all, let me provide some background. So this is a monitoring and evaluation process that we go through every year.
All right.
In assessing the progress that as a country we are making towards the development frameworks that we prepare for ourselves. As a country, every 4 years we prepare a medium-term development policy framework, and we set some benchmarks, targets that we would like to attain. So for the period that we are assessing, over 2022 to 2025, on an annual basis, reports are prepared to give an indication of the progress that we are making. So this report that has been done is on the year 2024.
Okay.
Now, the year has to end before you'll be able to get all the relevant data to make judgment as to how we progressed. So the projects that are implemented by the ministries, departments, and agencies are all captured in their development plans. And on an annual basis, they implement these. So for infrastructure-related projects, it cuts across. You have almost all the ministries in one way or the other delivering on infrastructure projects. Roads and highways, you have Ministry of Education, some of the classrooms that are to be built. You have Ministry of Health, you have Energy, all delivering on these projects. So these are a number of projects that were supposed to be completed. And it's not just for 2024. But in the 2024, we look back. Some of the projects date back as far back as 7 years ago, 10 years ago, some even 15 years. And you may have heard the remark that was made that there are even some projects that were started way back in the Champions time, which within the country is still not being completed. So it's something that the Commission really is concerned about, and we're bringing it out so that we can look at ways to remedy the situation. What causes that? Usually the projects are budgeted for, so you know that if it's going to take 1 year or 2 years to execute, then there's a budget dedicated for it. If the budgets are released in good time and in the rightful amount, then the project can be executed, completed in time. But we are not able to do that. What causes that sometimes is also because we are not able to prioritize. And I say this not to indict anybody, but you have ministries, departments and agencies, you know, well over 40, and some of them sometimes they anticipate that they will be able to get the needed funding to do it. They start, and some way in the course of the execution, they don't have all the resources to implement it. So it delays, and then it moves to the second year, it moves to the third year, and it goes on and on. The contractors that have been awarded the contracts to execute these projects, once it overstays its tenure, they would have to tender in contracts, revised contracts, because we, as a country, we also know the challenges that we face with inflation. I think this year we're coming down. As we speak, we have a single digit, as we have always projected or envisioned to attain. But previous years, you would have even 20, 23%, and then it has been coming down. So when you have inflation to that magnitude, definitely once the project is not delivered within the time frame and it has to travel several years beyond, then the costing will change because of inflation. We can also cite the case of exchange rate depreciation for this specific case, something that would have cost you, of course, in the dollar term, it may be the same, but once the cedi depreciates, then you need more of the local currency to be able to execute, and then there are slippages. Of course, if you anticipate that the economy will also grow by a certain margin or growth rate, and that is not realized, then it also contributes to revenues that will not also be attained. All these go in to create that scenario that has been painted. So it's a number of projects, I think well over 17,000 projects that we have accumulated.
I mean, how do we cure this? I mean, currently the government is undertaking some fiscal measures. Government is not spending as much. So some of these projects where government is supposed to release money will delay. And then in your next report, you are going to report some budget overruns again. How do we cure this?
Okay. So the advice generally has been that let us indicate in our project portfolios the ones that we are very sure of getting the funding to be able to execute. In other words, let's prioritize. Sometimes it may sound weird that maybe a whole ministry would just have 1 or 2 projects to execute. But if that is what you have the resources for, then prioritize and get these ones done before you add other ones. So we've been saying this over the period, but I think now because of what we are witnessing, and thanks to the Ministry of Finance, very committed to this cause so that we can have projects well designed, and then the financing of the project also well documented, so you know where the funding is coming from within that financial year. If it has to go 2-3 years, you have plans in place for the outer year funding also to be secured. Else, it doesn't get started at all. If you do it that way, then we wouldn't have the delays that we anticipate. Prioritizing also means that it has to respond to the national development priorities. Okay. We have a medium-term policy framework that is guiding the plans and projects or the programs of the MDAs. We are saying strictly that going forward, you need to have your plan prepared, reviewed by NDPC and certified. That way we'll be able to accommodate the interventions that you want to undertake and plan for the financing. so that we don't have the situation where so many projects are loaded, over 17,000, you can think of it, so that you just limit it to the ones that need really to be done, and then you can get them executed. We have local, as in national development goals, you have regional development goals like the Agenda 2063, and then you also have the SDGs. These are all things that really, the goals that really impact on the lives of the citizens that we lead. And our mantra has been that focus on the ones that you can deliver and deliver them so that you don't run into delays and then having these
road infrastructure, capital intensive. Your report says that the road ministry owes contractors 89 billion cedis. I mean, could this account for what you say is 47% in good condition of our roads, 32% fair, and 21% poor?
So yes, the roads, as you always hear in the budget, we earmark the ones that are supposed to be done, and sometimes the financing is in anticipation that it will be delivered. There are instances where the funding doesn't come in the manner in which they are expected and could cause delays. So you may have a road that is supposed to be completed within a year, and then it goes beyond that 1 year. But as the point has been made, now we want to have all these projects lined up properly, documented, and then the costing also scheduled so that we can have them executed. I think the government has come up with this big push, which is providing a scaled approach to financing our infrastructure development. Of course, road very high on the agenda, and it impacts a lot on our development. Private sector, businesses, even the logistics, people moving from one place to the other, goods moving from one place to the other. We have situations where goods, especially agricultural commodities, produced and they are locked up in the hinterlands. They are not able to move to the places that they are needed. And then you have them going bad because we are also not able to process them to increase the shelf life. And then it affects inflation, the prices of food go up, and it affects everyone. At the end of it, if we are not able to do this properly, then the lives and the livelihoods of people are impacted adversely, and it doesn't inure to the benefit of Ghanaians. So we want to address all these going forward.
All right. I'm grateful to you, sir. Mr. Richard Kodia, the Director of Research at the National Development Planning Commission. I'm grateful to you for coming here on the ChannelOne Newsroom. Well, let's do some other stories now. And several homes at Atonsu, Kuwait, in the Asukwa municipality of the Ashanti region, have been submerged following hours of torrential rain on Sunday evening. Affected residents are blaming local authorities for neglecting to deseal choked drains and the Susan River, which they say has become a major cause of recurrent flooding in the area. They are appealing to the government for immediate intervention. ChannelOne News' Ashanti regional correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim reports.
Residents of Atonsu, Kuwait are counting their losses after floodwaters swept through their homes, destroying personal belongings and displacing several families during the heavy downpour on Sunday, October 12. Dozens of houses were inundated, leaving many residents to seek refuge with neighbors. Although no casualties were recorded, the floods caused significant damage to property. The residents attribute the disaster to the failure of authorities to deseal the heavy clogged Susan River, which they insist is the root cause of the area's recurring floods.
Baby at free baby ayatiano e consume almost 500 meters. Aya de yetimi suano. Distance ne wa entinkani kwa se ensuo timi fire se ensuo ne dagatanum e na etim ensuo ne timi badia. Kameka se ne bia mo kan ebeje atum. Batanam se ensuo no enya baby e befa no na enya amna bi e befa mu akoten nti e na ama ensuo yiri ha yai.
Esi ensuo ndie ma ye ho chiri ye yankasa. Ensuo bo nkura ra ye mo ahye. Yentumi hu de yenye.
Ise ukowura ye de ma abobo hye se de ye ne ma ye de. Egusu ntie ba ya ise opie free dem ekọ hage obi fi anim. Ansa ne nso ne twi a watimi asan ba dem.
The assembly member for the Atonsu Kuwait Aprabon Oti electoral area, Joseph McCoy, says the situation has persisted for years without any concrete response from the relevant agencies.
When you go to Kuwait, there is an area called Nenchubuom. That area, anytime there is a downpour, that place flood. When you go to Aprabo, where there is a bridge linking to the Esreso high tension, that area too, whenever there is a heavy downpour, there is also flood area. There's also flood at that area, and even some of the light poles around that area, about 4 to 5 poles were all down to certain houses.
He noted that repeated appeals to have the drains desilted have so far gone unanswered.
I've been an assembly member for almost 2 to 3 years, and then ever since I came to that electoral area, there has not been, the municipal have not come for desilting. I went to the regional NADMO coordinator in the at RCC for him to help us desilt some of the drains, which up to now they have not come to do it for us. And then it's also causing a lot of problem for the areas.
Residents are therefore calling on the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, and the government to urgently clear the Susan River and surrounding drainage systems to help curb the perennial flooding, particularly during heavy rains.
I'm just urging those in authority to come to our aid and help us resolve those problems.
Residents of Atonsu Kuwait are urging authorities to urgently desilt the Susa River in the area in order to help curb the frequent flooding they experience, especially during heavy rains. For ChannelOne News, I am Fatih Amin Ibrahim, Ashanti Region.
Now, back here in Accra, 2 individuals have been arrested for their alleged involvement in attempts to manipulate Ghana's school placement system. Now, the arrests follow mounting concerns over irregularities and reports of bribery at placement resolution centers across the country. ChannelOne News' Sheba Arababenin visited the Nat Hall here in Accra, one of the busiest centers, and filed this report.
For weeks, anxious parents and their wards have flooded the Nat Hall, seeking assistance with school placement issues, some even spending the night there to secure help the following morning. With just days to go before first-year students report to school on October 18, the rush has intensified. While many parents say repeated visits have yielded no results, others express relief.
I won't board them, but they give them day. So I was here 3 weeks ago. If you come instead to go and check, when you go to the net, you won't get it. So today I was here, by God's grace. Although I didn't get my school Ghana forces that I want, I get Ganata. And then I changed my brother's own too.
It was really hectic, but I just realized that the moment you are able to get your issues to them, it doesn't even take a minute to be resolved.
We gave them the score right. Then they asked us to go next week, Friday. We come back. Yeah, then we went. We came back today, told us to go again. The Friday we will come back again. Then this is the 3rd time we are coming here because the place is crowded. Said we'll come early in the morning tomorrow.
A parent, Olivia Gaffa, told ChannelOne News that despite the free SHS policy, she had been approached by some individuals demanding payment to secure a boarding slot for her child.
Me the school na wanya no. Enye se me mpe o me pe. But ye wo so onti mi ma de bia lo me nya. So me single mother me nya. Odogo no senior high.
Na se mo ko school ni mo ho na de na mo te wo.
Master ne so obeje se ye pe. Wenya de no me se wo mpe na me pe boarding. Obeje me 3,500. Na me si me nya nti me ba ha be se. Aha de ombema no boarding na e de akwa na.
Meanwhile, the Deputy National Coordinator of the Free SHS Secretariat, Dr. Belinda Glover, confirmed the arrests, noting that the suspects were allegedly involved in manipulating placements for several people and soliciting bribes in the process.
We have been able to arrest some of them. In fact, they come with multiple sheets, trying to do changes either day to boarding or boarding today or sometimes changing program. Because the ideal thing is you can't have more than 5 children going to secondary school at the same time. So we have been able to track down those people, and then we've managed to hand some of them to the police.
Authorities have assured that all outstanding placement issues are expected to be resolved by October 18. Parents whose concerns remain unresolved after that date have been advised to contact the Free SHS Secretariat or the Ghana Education Service directly for further assistance.
With only a week for first-year senior high school students to report, parents and students are being cautioned to use the legal and appropriate measures to have their concerns of school placement resolved. Reporting for Channel One News, I am Sheba Arba Benin.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has urged world leaders and development partners to go beyond the rhetoric and take transformative steps to advance women's empowerment and gender equality. Now, speaking at the Global Leaders Meeting on Women in Beijing, President Mahama touted Ghana's achievements in appointing women to key positions in governance under his leadership. Channel One News' presidential correspondent Akosi Ochre has more.
The opening day of the crucial Beijing Women's Meeting featured Chinese President and Ghana's President, John Mahama, who led a government delegation including Minister of Gender to highlight Ghana's historic shift in political leadership, where more women have been appointed for various roles in government. He emphasized that women deserve a seat at the highest levels of decision-making.
Under my leadership and in my capacity as the African Union champion for gender and women's empowerment, the government of Ghana has continued to take decisive steps to mainstream gender across our national development policies. Women deserve a seat at the table of the highest levels of decision-making. And I am confident that in the very near future, our women will break the glass ceiling and there will be a woman President of the Republic of Ghana.
President Mahama also highlighted key policies his government is implementing to empower women and promote gender equality.
And I wish to use this platform to call on my colleague African leaders to focus on the welfare and empowerment of African women.
The president later held a bilateral meeting with Premier of the State Council of the People's Republic of China. The president called on countries that share common values and interests to unite in the face of global trade challenges.
This is a time that countries that have shared values must stand together. And Ghana and China have had shared values. We have voted in international organizations on the same side. And so as the world becomes more unpredictable, there's a time that countries like Ghana and China and other willing partners that believe in multilateralism should stand even closer together.
Leaders from across the globe represented, including men, even though the discussions today centered around women empowerment. Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama took the opportunity to call on African leaders to translate their commitments towards women empowerment into actions. Reporting for Channel One News from Beijing, China, Akosi Ochre.
Well, you're still watching the Channel One Newsroom here on Channel One TV. Still ahead. Strong revenue growth, spending discipline mark Ghana's 2025 fiscal performance. We have details in a bit. Please stay with us.
Love the Premier League? Your DSTV premium subscription could get you there in real life, Charlie. Stay connected for your chance to watch the Premier League live. Man U versus Man City at Old Trafford or Arsenal versus Man U in London. Stay connected to score with DSTV Premium. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame.
As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Senya God the apple boom. If you put it toye, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
You are welcome to two of Ghana's finest addresses, Willow Lane and Alphabet City, located at Sakumon. Alphabet City is a premier gated community with 24/7 security. Willow Lane, where luxury meets comfort, spacious 4-bedroom homes with walk-in closet, elevators, and gourmet kitchen. Two lifestyles, one trusted developer at Waylead. Our buildings are ready for you to move in right now. So visit waylead.org or call 0240 111119 to book a private tour today. Waylead, your trusted home builder.
Hey Ghana, so you people know Miss Brother Man Small. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all, kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the grades. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa, faha.
Welcome back. This is the Channel One Newsroom on Channel One TV. Next is business with Netele Nete Ajaho.
Channel One Business is brought to you by MTN and EcoBank.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house. I need your thumbprint. And I'll need your birth certificate too. No, I need the original.
A lot has changed since you banked like this. So have we. We've made it easier than ever to open an account online and bank on the go through our mobile app, online banking, and more. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way.
Sign here, and here.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, Nathalie. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, and you? How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm also good.
What do you have for us?
Latest data is showing that government, the economy is improving okay, but government is spending less, even though they are collecting more to ensure that we are able to restrain our debt levels and all of that. But we are spending less. And
well, you know, just had an interview with the Director of Research at the NDPC. They're saying government owes contractors in excess of 80 billion cedis. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now, Ghana's fiscal performance for the first 7 months of 2025 reflected a mix of strong revenue growth and restrained government spending. According to the Bank of Ghana's September 2025 Monetary Policy Report, total revenue and grants rose 22.9% year-on-year to 116.2 billion Ghana cedis, but this still fell 5.5% short of 122.9 billion Ghana cedi target, equivalent to 8.3% of GDP. The shortfall was broad-based across key tax lines, underscoring ongoing challenges in domestic revenue mobilization. This report has more details.
Non-oil tax revenue missed targets marginally by 0.2%, while pay-as-you-earn fell short by 3.5%, largely due to reduced mining sector payments following the appreciation of the cedi. However, corporate tax collections outperformed by 2.8%, supported by strong results from the mining and financial sectors. Domestic VAT, the Gets Fund levy, and NHIL all exceeded their respective targets by 2.2%, 14%, and 14.8%, driven by higher consumer spending as prices eased. The communication service tax was among the standout performers, surpassing its target by 400 million cedis. On the expenditure side, the reports show that government spending was deliberately contained, reflecting tighter fiscal discipline and improved expenditure control. Total government expenditure stood at 131.1 billion cedis, equivalent to 9.4% of GDP, compared to a target of 152.6 billion cedis, representing a 14.1% shortfall relative to target, but a 9.3% year-on-year increase. All major spending categories came in below target, except compensation of employees, which slightly exceeded projections at 44.9 billion cedis. Interest payments declined to 28.9 billion cedis, about 19.5% below the 36 billion target. Meanwhile, economist Professor Peter Korte has indicated that a marginal deviation in spending for the first 7 months of 2025 is acceptable, although he maintains that excessive spending cuts could undermine economic growth and overall recovery efforts.
Fiscal management is good, that if we are not going beyond budget and they stay within budget, that is fine. But a major deviation for me is also not good. If we are deviating 14% from a expenditure target, that certainly is not the best. A 5% deviation is fine, but anything above that I think is significant. And if you don't spend, you are constraining growth. If your government is not spending, it is restricting economic activity, and you are not propelling the economy to be able to engage more people, employ more people, and lead to further growth.
Ghana holds the third highest policy rate in sub-Saharan Africa despite cumulative cuts of 7.5 percentage points this year that have brought the benchmark rate down to 21.5%. This according to the World Bank's October 2025 Africa Pulse report, which places Ghana behind only Nigeria and Malawi. Here is more.
The latest 350 basis point reduction in September lowered borrowing costs to their lowest level since October 2022, reflecting the Bank of Ghana's growing confidence in disinflation progress and macroeconomic stability. The Monetary Policy Committee attributed the move to falling inflation, stronger external buffers, and sustained growth momentum. However, the World Bank notes that Ghana's monetary stance remains tighter than most regional peers. Countries like Kenya, Mozambique, Lesotho, and South Africa have already eased rates further, while others, such as Rwanda and Uganda, have held steady for months. Some market watchers argue that while the Bank of Ghana's cautious approach is prudent, further easing could help lower lending costs, stimulate private sector expansion, and strengthen Ghana's trade position. The World Bank also cautioned that global uncertainties and volatile commodity prices could delay monetary normalization, but countries with well-anchored inflation like Ghana have room to ease gradually without derailing stability.
Let's now bring you an update of how the currency is performing on the interbank market. And that's all for Channel One Business. I am Netili Neti Ajahu. Back to you, Charles.
Thank you very much, Netili. Well, let's do some more stories. And the Ghana Police Service has arrested 10 individuals for allegedly creating fake online food delivery platforms to defraud unsuspecting customers. According to the police, the arrests were made by the cybercrime unit of the Criminal Investigations Department following weeks of sustained intelligence operations. Preliminary investigations revealed that the suspects created fake websites and social media pages that appeared to belong to these brands. They were found to be behind a sophisticated online fraud scheme impersonating well-known food brands including Papaya, Pizzaman, KFC and Mawako. Further investigations uncovered that in some cases, the suspects gained unauthorized access to the victims' mobile money and bank accounts under the pretext of assisting with payments, subsequently withdrawing funds. Digital devices linked to the fraud have been retrieved and are undergoing forensic analysis. In some more news, a special anti-illegal mining task force under the National Concerned Small-Scale Miners Association has raided an illegal mining camp at Nyamedomso near Mankranso in the Hafwano Southwest District, successfully driving out some illegal miners operating in the area. The miners were reportedly polluting the river Mankran, a vital water source for domestic use and farming activities. Channel One News' Middlebelt Bureau Chief Hafiz Tijani has more.
The pollution of the river Mankran has extended to other nearby water bodies, including the River Ofin, which serves several farming communities in the Ashanti region. Members of the illegal mining group fled upon seeing the task force, which went on to dismantle makeshift sheds and equipment used in their operations. A member of the National Concerned Small-Scale Miners Association, Philip Bauer, accused some opinion leaders in the area of shielding the miners.
There's nowhere in Ghana that you can go and perform any activity on a river body close to the town without speaking to the people in the village for some kind of rituals. So therefore, so far as activities are being undertaken here, they are in the known, and we can say that they are involved, for which reason they are not taking any action. So they are complicit. We are not going to massage the issues. We are saying it as it is. We have warned them that they are perpetuating the actions we have seen. As you can see, this is the river in Mankran. It joins the river Ofin at a point. So when the pollution is caused here, it affects Ofin, and Ofin goes to Pra and to the sea. So we have to start from where the actions are, and one of the places is where we started the operations today.
The district chief executive for Afano Southwest says the Assembly's task force will work closely with the association to clamp down on illegal mining in the area.
Let me use this opportunity to thank the Ghana Concerned Small-Scale Miners Task Force, and they've taken a lot of operations around. Yeah, so with their help and the help of the traditional rulers, I think we'll be able to calm these menace down. I have a standing task force. Normally, they go around every blessed day to go and see those who are doing the illegality. Yeah, and I hope with the help of the task force, everything will be fine.
The leader of the task force reaffirmed their commitment to sustaining the operations as part of efforts to support government's crackdown on Galamsey.
Away from that, the former executive director of the National Service Authority, Osei SCBNP, has been charged with 14 counts, including causing financial loss to the Republic, stealing and money laundering in a case involving more than 600 million Ghana cedis. According to a charge sheet filed at the High Court in Accra, the former NSA boss is accused of authorizing payments to over 60,000 non-existent national service personnel and stealing funds during his tenure between August 2021 and February 2025. Meanwhile, Giftiowari Mensam, a former Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Authority, has also been arraigned before the High Court in Accra on multiple charges, including stealing, causing financial loss to the state, money laundering, and abuse of public office. Prosecutors say she dishonestly transferred 31.5 million Ghana cedis from a loan facility meant to support national service personnel into the account of her private company, Blocks of Life Consult, under the pretext of supplying goods on a hire purchase basis. Investigations later revealed that no such goods were supplied and the names used to secure the loan were ghost names she had generated from the NSA's internal system. This is still the Channel One newsroom on Channel One TV. Still to come. South Africa's Bafana target victory over Rwanda and hope for Benin slip to secure World Cup berth. The Channel One newsroom will be back in a jiffy. Please stay with us.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Trotro from Kaswati. Why wouldn't he be late? Obey you later.
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter what you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Senya God the apple boom. If you put it toye, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Hey Ghana, so you people know Miss Brother Man Small. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the greats. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa, faha.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
It's on SuperSport all season long. Pay your subscription today. Dial star 759 hash. Available on DSTV and GoTV.
Thank you for staying with us here on the Channel One newsroom here on Channel One TV. Next is sports with Bernarda Bakewater.